Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the final time today here in Starladder Season 8, Day 24. We've got one more match coming your way, and of course it is Team Empire versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I've got the music ready to rock and roll. It's ready to be queued up if Power Rangers can secure themselves a win over Empire. I am Zyori. I will be solo casting once again. Fog did have to head to tend to his real-life girlfriend. That's right, IRL. So we can't fault him for darting out on us. Big shout out to Fog for coming on for the first 4 matches today. Really did appreciate it. Always good to have some competitive insight. He's a really cool guy. I like casting with Fog. He's upbeat, and he's just got a very cool, calm, and collected demeanor about him. You know, he's a fun guy. Big shout out. So, anyhow, let's talk about standings here as this draft is taking its sweet time. Power Rangers currently 10-4 in the 5th position of the round-robin standings here. Team Empire, well, they're not really in great shape. They're sitting 9-7. So 8 wins is that magic number where it is completely mathematically impossible. 7, or did I say wins? I meant to say losses. If you have 8 losses or more, there's no way you can make it into the top 4. If you have 7 losses, it's statistically improbable, but ever so slightly possible in a tie-break scenario to sneak your way into the top 4. So if Empire do concede this game to Power Rangers, they will officially be out of the round robin and will have no chance of making it into the top 4. This is also Team Empire's last game, as they are sitting 9-7, and there are 17 matches in this round robin. Now, Power Rangers 10-4. They are in a good spot. If they take this win, they will be in a really good position. They'll actually be in 3rd place in the round robin. So Power Rangers need this. They absolutely need it to stay alive, folks. Doesn't get any more serious than this for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is it. It's all on the line here. They need to make it happen, Captain. Now, Power Rangers, as we mentioned in the last game, similar to Flipside in the sense that they do struggle with consistency. Interesting statistic for Power Rangers. In Starladder Season 7 Round Robin, they upset Alliance in an amazing display of skill and drafting prowess. Same story, different chapter here in Starladder Season 8. They actually did take out Alliance, and if I'm not mistaken, Power Rangers did beat Na'vi as well. They're a very skilled Belarus team. They have the skills to pay the bills. But again, that question is, will they be on point this game? Is this a match where they'll have that team fight prowess? Will they be working together as a unit of one, or will they say nay and wander about the map like chickens with their heads cut off? I hope it's not the latter, folks. I have a lot of hope for the Power Rangers here. I've been enjoying this team since the beginning of Starladder Season 7, and I've been rooting for them ever since. They're a team that likes to do something interesting, likes to bring out the big plays, and they have awesome, awesome theme music. On that note, let's take a look at this draft here. Empire did start things off with the Visage first pick. Nothing too crazy about that. Initial bands looking pretty straightforward as well. Elder Titan, OD, the Crystal Maiden, all good and well. Now, Bristleback Alchemist, first 2 picks for Power Rangers. This is the beginning of a scary draft. A lot of minus armor and huge physical damage possibilities here. And I'm a little bit surprised to see Empire banning out the Shadow Demon over the Dazzle. Dazzle Bristleback is a duo that's quite scary. The Dazzle action we've seen today has not really been a telling statement of Dazzle's prowess in a lineup like this, but Alchemist and Bristleback alone, you've got the Acid Spray mixed with the Quills. That's scary enough. Concoction to lock him in place. Bristleback with those Warpath charges just beating away at you with that flail. Oh boy, does that get dirty. Dazzle synergizes so well with these 2 heroes to start things off, and this could be a minus armor strategy that Power Rangers are going for with a 1-position Bristleback. Now, it's hard to say. This 3rd pick will be pretty telling of what they want to do here. Again, with an Alchemist as 2nd pick, a lot of options for Power Rangers. They can put him mid, or they can leave him support. They're going to grab themselves an Invoker. Now, at first glance, we may be thinking to ourselves, whoa, Invoker, that's not minus armor, but I say nay. How about those Forged Spirits, huh? This will probably be a Quas Wex Invoker. And I think those Forged Spirits are going to be coming out pretty early. Did I say Quas Wex? I meant to say Quas Exort. I'm sorry. It's doing so well. Oh, that intro was great. But Invoker actually does work very well with this minus armor strategy. The Forged Spirits melt that armor. They do a lot of damage. They're great in the mid lane, and Invoker is a very strong staple mid lane hero. Now, he may not go mid. Keep in mind that Invoker can also solo the safe lane, so still not very telling of how they want to do this. It could be a one-position Bristleback in the safe lane, could be the off-lane Bristleback, could be a long lane tri-lane. Still a lot of options. Really digging on this draft so far. Now, TA going to be picked up by Team Empire. An interesting third pick. Alright, Venomancer now going to be fourth for Power Rangers. I think they're assuming that Invoker is going to be going mid. And TA should fare pretty well against the Invoker. Not a matchup that we've seen a lot of here in Starladder Season 8. Not one that I've seen on too many an occasion. TA has really been making a resurgence lately. But mostly TA has been picked up against those int heroes. In particular, Puck. We've seen TA versus Puck. That's that classic counter. We talked about it in the last game. We actually saw that displayed for us in a few matches earlier today. So TA, a very strong mid hero. No problem with that pick. The question is, will it actually be an Invoker mid? And they could try and switch things up. I think if they put Alchemist mid, things could be a little bit rough. Now, interesting. Empire are going to be the ones to actually go for the Dazzle. And if I had to put money on it, I would have thought that Dazzle would have been the choice for Power Rangers over the Venomancer. Though it looks like they do want some slow. They want a little bit of magic damage to mix in with their minus armor. Could possibly even be overkill if you add Dazzle to the mix. But an interesting choice for Empire. Looks like Empire going for a little bit of minus armor action as well. Of course, TA does have some with her. What is it? The Meld. That's it. Oh, look at that armor reduction. Ouch. Oh, doesn't it just make you happy to see the Dazzle? Doesn't it just make you happy? Doesn't it make you smile a little bit? I love it. I'm absolutely in love with the fact that Dazzle has come back into the competitive scene. Teams are finally realizing the potential that the Shadow Priest, I was going to say Shadow Shaman. He ain't the Shadow Shaman. He's the Shadow Priest. Dazzle. Oh, it's going to be good. I may be a little biased here, because in that preamble I did mention that Power Rangers are, they have my heart. They're a team that I've been following for a while that I think have a lot of power. And a lot of just, they tend to make interesting plays. But I do like their draft a little bit better here. 5 seconds remaining. The cast is ruined. I do like their draft a little better. Even though Empire have the Dazzle, I always worry when there's a TA. Because TA is a great hero and can counter a specific hero in mid. But TA, a little bit susceptible to those early ganks. And Venomancer, I think, is the part of the reason they grabbed that fourth pick, Veno, over Dazzle, is because of the TA. Of course, Poison, anything that does small bits of frequent damage, does well against TA. Gyrocopter, another hero that just melts the refraction. A great last ban from Team Empire.
5 seconds.
So I guess the Veno does work over the Dazzle, though Poison Touch has a similar flavor. And interesting, they're going to go with a Klink's final pick. And now we are left in that state of how are they going to lane this? And it's a little bit hard to say. It's presumably going to be a tri-lane with Klinks. With that Venomancer and Alchemist, a long lane Bristleback, and an Invoker mid. But Power Rangers may opt to switch it up a little bit. I'm not sure who they think will be best suited to deal with the TA. In all honesty, I would have thought that it would be Alchemist. To be perfectly frank, I think Alchemist fares pretty well against TA in the mid. That Acid Spray works wonders because, of course, TA is a very low-ranged hero. But wow, Empire, they're going to switch it up as well. They're going to grab a Night Stalker. So again, hard to say exactly how they want to lane this. It looks like it will be silent on the Night Stalker. They may swap once we get in, so I don't want to read too much into it here in the picking screen, because that has certainly bitten me in the ass before, saying, oh wow, that's cool, position 1 Night Stalker, and then they switch and they go, oh geez, all of that analysis just goes out the window. But it looks like it will be silent on Night Stalker, so of course Silent is their position 1 player. He's going to be farming away, carrying hard. And that can be a little bit of a gamble, in my humble opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of the position 1 Night Stalker. We'll talk about it a little bit more once they get into the lanes, once we know for sure it will be a tri-lane around that Night Stalker. I like him in the mid-roll a little bit better, but we have seen that position 1 Night Stalker work really well. With the recent changes tonight are semi-recent. Of course, now instead of 6 minutes, it's at 4 minutes. It does give Night Stalker that flexibility, where in the first night, if he's not mid, that pressure to gank isn't quite there, and he can basically just farm through the first night, maybe pick up a kill or two if it's convenient, and then really make it happen in the second night if he's been picking up free farm, and that's something that this Night Stalker may be able to do. And we'll see how it works out. Now let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here. It looks like we know where Power Rangers will be laning. Cheshire Cat will be on the Klinks down here in the bottom lane, in the safe lane. Empire actually doing a 5-man train through the Radiant jungle. They have not thrown down a ward yet, just scouting around, perhaps looking for a little bit of early aggression. And there it is. They are going to throw down this RoboCop ward. Ah, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've really seen the RoboCop ward. That's pretty neat. I like that. Going to block the spawn there. F-God going to be on the Venomancer, also down here in the bottom lane. J4 going to be supporting on the Alchemist. I've been known to call him S4 on a few occasions. Uh-oh. Actually, we could see some action here. Some haction. Unstable Concoction. Gale to follow up. F-God actually taking a lot of damage, though. Uh-oh. This might get turned around on. Path blocking from Cheshire Cat. That may keep the Venomancer alive. Trying to do some fancy footwork about the trees. He did eat a tango. Uh-oh. Another Concoction charging up. That's going to be the first blood. Silent going to grab it, but I think it's going to cost him here. The Concoction comes out. Shallow grave from the Dazzle. Silent will live. Now Cheshire Cat in a little bit of trouble. He did scale Searing Arrows first. Not going to have a getaway. Oh, no. Power Rangers. Oh. They should have assembled the Megazord. They should have called Zordon. Sacre bleu. Oh, no. That was just an utter disaster. Power Rangers were actually the initiators on that as well. They opened with the Concoction, and they got turned around on. Oh, no. Let's finish introducing here. ZXC going to be solo mid on the Invoker. That means up here in the top lane, it will be an off-lane Bristleback being played by Moon. Moon does tend to be their position 1 player, so you can expect that Bristleback to pick up a good bit of farm. Now down here in the bottom lane, on Team Empire, we do have a tri-lane. Coming out is going to be Silent on that Night Stalker. Always Want to Fly, going to be on the Visage. And Vanscore, going to be supporting on the Dazzle here. And look at this. He's got that headpiece on where Dazzle looks a little bit bald. I hate that. I hate that. Look how silly the tooltip looks. Oh. Not the tooltip, his portrait. Why am I saying tooltip? The portrait. In the mid, going to be Resolution playing on the Templar Assassin. Then up top, going to be Mag playing in the solo safe lane Timbersaw role. So I imagine that top lane going to be pretty even. Bristleback versus Timbersaw. Bristleback has a small edge. Of course, we've talked about what many a cast about how he works against Bristleback. Does a bit of pure damage, but most importantly, that Whirling Death. The minus stats really hurts Bristleback. Cuts into his tank ability. Most of the action really going to be in this bottom lane, though. It should be pretty even up top. Mid should go the way of TA, but all in all should be relatively even. It looks like Invoker is indeed going to be going for the Exort Quas build, what I meant to say in the picking phase. Not Quas Wex, but indeed Quas Exort. And does have the Forged Spirits out. So even though TA does do pretty well against ranged int heroes in the mid lane, Invoker does have it a little bit easier with those Forged Spirits. So we see them pretty even. TA 11-4 and 9-2 on the Invoker, and that should be relatively even. The big disparity is going to be this bottom lane. This is where it's at. 6 heroes out of 10. It's a try-on-try, and let's look at some of the farms. Silent off to the races here. He's sitting 9-1 on the Night Stalker. And over here, Cheshire Cat's struggling. He's 2-2 to start things off, and that's not so hot. This is already rough for Power Rangers. Part of this is because, well, they conceded those early deaths, gave a little bit of momentum to Empire. And just look at the difference in levels already. Dazzle sitting level 3. Visage already level 3. And look at the Radiant side. We've got a level 1 and a level 1. Oh, this is rough for Power Rangers already. They will smoke up. They are going to head to the mid lane here. Heart, thank you, Fallen. Don't know who you are, but no, let's send him a little love back. There you go, pal. Yeah, gonna one-up you. Look what I started. Look at that. So let's see what they do with this smoke. Looks like they are going to rotate up. The smoke is going to expire. Do they have another? They do not. They will make it up. They will not get scouted out. Looks like they do want to do a wraparound here and try and pick on this Timbersaw a little bit. This is really risky, though. Having 2 supports dedicated to roaming is usually not an efficient way to get some levels up on them. They might be able to grab a kill here. Mag does have that point in Timber Chain. Will take a Concoction. Gale going to connect. There's that vicious Nasal Goo. Shout out to Fog. Mag going to Whirling Death. Going to get a bit of pure damage off, and I think he's going to be slated to fall. Timber Chain. Not going to be enough. Down he goes. So they will be successful with that kill, but Dazzle going to port up, and actually it may cost him a Bristleback. Only level 1 Poison Touch. I don't think it's going to be enough. If it was level 2, certainly would be. Nope, not going to be enough here. Well, a noble effort from Vanscore. He's going to soak up a little bit of XP while he waits for his buddy to port back up. That is going to be Mag. And Dazzle may just hang out up here. They don't need him down bottom. Silence in good shape. Clinks is in big trouble. Clinks 10-2 against the 23-3 Night Stalker. So they really just don't need the Dazzle down there. He's already done his role. TA gonna grab a double damage and head back to mid, so ZXC's life gonna get a little bit more difficult, but the Forge Spirit really is helping him out here. Chips away at that refraction as well. Now, it's very risky to take your 2 supports and roam them around like that. You really need to make kills happen. You need to make a lot of kills happen to make it worthwhile, and we'll see them go for it again. They're going to start off with the initiation on the Timber Saw and Stable Concoction on the Dazzle. He's going to take a lot of damage here. He does have a Grave. We'll get it off. Mag going to be able to finish off the Venomancer. Dazzle buying some time. We'll use the stick charges. Going to throw a heal right away. He'll survive. Now Moon going to fall as more support comes. Silent going to make his way up top. J4 in big trouble. He's got no mana. It's nighttime, and this is where Silent can just go to town. It's looking rough for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, folks. They're off to a very bad start here. I mentioned Night Stalker in this one position, and in this kind of a role, he doesn't have to feel obligated to gank in the night, on that first night in particular, because there's someone else in mid, but here's a situation where he just gets those easy kills. Now going to have some phase boots. He's 2-0-1. Net worth, oh boy, it's looking scary. Let's take a look at these graphs. About 3,000 gold lead, 2,000 experience in favor of Empire here at the 5.5 minute mark. Oh my. It's just a disaster. The saving grace for PR right now is this Invoker. He's doing quite well against the TA. They're just about even. 28 and 13 versus the 25 and 8 TA. But ZXC going to get ganked right here. A much needed gank. In comes the Unstable Concoction. Will fly onto Silent, but not going to do too much. We'll just slow him down a little bit. Invoker falls. J4 going to get dove on. Going to be an easy kill, and if they scat out F-God, he's dead. Yep, they see him. Now F-God's in big trouble. Silent needs to be a little careful here. He will get galed. Taking a lot of tower shots. Venomancer falls. They will take the tower aggro. Silent. That Forged Spirit trying to take him down. Won't be enough. 3 for nil exchange in the mid. Empire just picking up the momentum. And oh boy, do they have a snowball roster. Night Stalker, definition of a snowball hero. TA, maybe not the definition, but boy can she snowball. And she's off to one hell of a start now. Farm has been even with the Invoker, but those kills really helping her out. She's now going to be 6. Invoker sitting on level 6 as well. Now, all this rotating did open up a little bit of room for that Clinks, which is good news for Power Rangers, I suppose you could say. But he still doesn't have too much to show for it. Did grab a Haste Rune. A little bit of room for him, but still a much better exchange for Empire. They'll take those kills over some free farm Clinks any day. Or 4 free farm Clinks, I should say. Of course, they'll take it over a Clinks. Gonna burn the dust. Will connect onto the Clinks. Void to start things off. Cheshire Cat gonna be in big trouble here. I don't know if he's gonna survive this one. Oh. He's gonna survive, I suppose. Thought Van Score was a little bit closer. Look at this Dazzle build, too. Feels safe going for the super aggressive Dazzle. 3 points in Poison Touch at level 5. This is the build I love. It's what I do in my pub games when I play Dazzle. Dazzle. Don't underestimate the damage, folks. Of course, it does do physical damage. We all know that. 260 at level 3. 320 at level 4. It's a dot. The stun doesn't come to level 4 now. We will see resolution. Maybe in a bit of trouble. Does take some damage. Support comes in. They will back off. Not going to be able to secure that kill. Let's take a look at inventories here. See how things are faring. Early Earn coming after the Night Stalker. He is now level 6. And he may continue to just move around the map here. Just actually going to soak up some farm down in the bottom. Dazzle will grab a double damage rune here. Going to deny it from the Invoker, most importantly. Oh, there's the Radiant Courier. So Invoker is doing alright. He's probably going to pick up a Hand of Midas here. He did grab himself Power Tread, so go with that Null Talisman and the opening GG branches. Of course, Invoker, a hero that benefits from the Midas a little bit more than other heroes, as we've mentioned a few times here in Starladder Season 8 in the Round Robin. Invoker is one such hero that really benefits from additional levels, more so than most other heroes. Cheshire Cat going to get engaged on down here in the bottom. They will burn yet another dust. Chakram going to do a bit of deforestation, and Silent will be able to dive on him. J4 going to port down. He's only level 3, though. Concoction connects with Mag, and they say, hey, man, we can turn this around. He's only level 3. Let's pick on him. And they will. They're going to send him back to the well. Oh, Timber Chain going to miss. Mag will take a few extra tower shots, but adding insult to injury here. Empire very quickly running away with this. 4,000 gold lead, upwards of about a 4,000 experience lead as well. They're playing out of their minds here. And again, another match where PR, they just don't seem to be on. Very unfortunate. As we mentioned in that picking phase, they needed this game. Power Rangers won't be out if they concede a loss here, but they will actually less beneficial situation. I think that will take them to 5 losses and does put them in sort of an awkward spot where I guess it's still technically possible if you crunch the numbers, but really not looking good for Power Rangers if they end up 10 and 5. Now in the mid, Resolution going to be under some assault here as Clinks was on top of him, ready to rock and roll, but just look at that refraction. Alchemist not even in position. J4 actually going to stun himself. That was a pretty failed gank. Up top, Always Want to Fly will get picked off and did catch the tail end of that. But the goo as well as the Gale. Makes it pretty easy. Hard to escape from that. But yeah, they might have been able to kill that TA. If that concoction had connected, they might have had a chance to do it. Still would have been rough, but see Power Rangers just not coordinating. So with that kill, Moon going to get a little boost in the old net worth there. Now going to be number 5 on the chart behind his buddy Invoker. ZXC. Looks like he's not going to go Midas first. Probably the smart choice here. Staff of Wizardry. No doubt going to turn into a Force Staff. Going to need that mobility item. Timbersaw going to go for a pretty early mech. And that's a great choice. If you listen to my cast frequently, you'll probably know that I'm a big fan of the early mech, especially if you have a lineup that's focused around early bits of team fighting. Exactly what Empire's been doing so far. Mech, one of those items, more valuable the earlier you get it. And it looks like no one from PR is working towards that mech, so that's going to give him a nice team fight advantage. And I like this play to move into the Roche pit. 11-minute mark. No wards up right now around the pit. There's only one ward up for the Radiant side. It's right here. Not going to do much in the way of Roshan. He is going to fall. Aegis of the Immortal going to go the way of the Templar Assassin, who now has an Ogre Club. Looks like he'll be going to BKB first. There's the mech on the Timbersaw, and also a Vanguard coming out on the Night Stalker. 3 very powerful core items here, especially for a nice mid-game presence. A pretty timely Vanguard. He did go earn first, so could have gotten that Vanguard a little bit more quickly if he so chose. But now Silent going to be very tanky. He'll be able to man up, move into these towers, especially at this level. This point in the match. Oh, it hurts. Believe me, it hurts. Glyph going to be used, but this tier 1 in the mid going to be under heavy fire, and Empire are going to grab it, so we'll see this gold graph just jump in their favor following that Roshan and successful tower kill. Total tower count will now be 2-0 in favor of Empire. And they are just going to rotate. Medallion already out on the Visage, of course, part of the reason they were able to take out Roche so quickly. Now my question is, what's Dazzle going to be going for here? Mech's already taken care of, Medallion's already taken care of. Those are the 2 support items that Dazzle tends to go for, depending on what his buddies grab. So actually a little bit curious to see what he's going to go for here. Looks like he is going to grab himself a magic wand. That's not too much as of yet. Phase boots? Oh man, he's going to get the arcane boots. A good choice, probably the right choice here in this match. Is he the only set of arcanes? Nope, they've got some on the Timbersaw. 2 arcanes is solid. I do like the phase boots on Dazzle though. I like that extra bit of right click. It hurts. It hurts. So up top, this tier 1 starting to take some pressure. They do have the Forged Spirits in the front lines. Of course, that Acid Spray comes down. It does serve as a pretty effective anti-push. Makes it a little bit more difficult to take a fight on top of the Acid Spray. Empire are going to be happy to just back up. They're not in any hurry here. Actually, that graph didn't jump quite as much as I thought it would. Opening up a lot of room for this TA, who's just free farming down here in the bottom lane. Now has a Mithril Hammer sitting in the bank. So going to have that BKB in a pretty timely manner. I'm going to put a wager here. I think it's going to be BKB into Blink Dagger, into Desolator for the TA. That's my best guess. We'll see if it comes true. Pretty classic TA build. I don't know what I'm going to wager. I'll wager my good name. No, that's too big of a wager. We'll see a dive past that tier 1 as Mag does hop forward. Not going to be able to secure a kill, but he does zone out the forces of Power Rangers. Visage, almost in a sticky situation. Well, he's definitely in a sticky situation. That viscous goo all over him, but does survive. Top tier 1 taking some pretty heavy pressure here. And that mid tier 1 actually taking some heavy fire as well. Clink's going to try and finish it off. It is going to get denied by the Visage. Well played by Always Want to Fly. Cheshire Cat going to get down to about half health. Of course, Clinks is an Orchid carrier, but it's going to be a long ways coming. Quite a ways off that Orchid, if that is indeed the item he's going for. I can't imagine him grabbing anything else here. Bristleback has made a pretty solid pickup, though. Of course, that is the Vanguard here around the 14-minute mark. Not the best timing on that Vanguard, but not the worst either. Silent trying to come around the backside for a little bit of a wraparound engage, but Venomancer going to use those pesky Blade Wards to scout it out. one of many reasons this Venomancer is an irritating support pick. Those wards do serve as, well, wards. They live up to their name. Dazzle is just so good for this pushing sustain, though. Now that they have the mech, they'll be happy to stand in the acid spray if it means they can grab the tower. Going to be 3-1 here in total tower count. Of course, that tier 1 in the mid that Empire lost was denied, so mitigating their losses a little bit there. But they will finish off all the tier 1 towers for Power Rangers. They will press forward. PR doing a pretty good job not to concede too many unnecessary deaths, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They did well trying to delay that push as best they could, looking for options to maybe engage but not overcommitting. Empire doing the same, doing well, not overcommitting, recognizing that the Bristleback can be pretty scary at this juncture. But here we go. They're going to hop forward. Visage going to start off with the familiar. ZXC going to force staff back. He will survive. Now Moon, maybe their target of choice. He's going to turn his back. They're not going to be able to do it. Mech going to get popped. Still no kills to come out. Power Rangers, I'm telling you. They're behind by a pretty significant margin here, but they're doing a nice job. They are going to try and engage on this TA. Of course, she still has the Aegis. So even if they finish her off here, Dazzle's still going to throw the grave. Trying to buy as much time as possible. Resolution's still alive. Aegis still in the inventory. Now Klink's going to venture maybe too far forward. He did grab a Blink Dagger to get some initiation power. Resolution going to come back out. That's the Aegis popped. First kill here. And uh-oh, TA might be in a little bit of trouble. Resolution going to fall. And there you go. Power Rangers will grab the first kill of this exchange. Great resets. The use of that Force Staff on this Invoker. Worth its weight in the gold right now. That is the item. Keeping them in these fights for sure. Oh boy. So Empire, I don't want to say losing some momentum here, but kind of a stalemate hold. And Power Rangers showing us that, yeah, they're behind. But they can still tango a bit. They can still take a fight. They still have some prowess here about the map. Looks like Night Stalker is going to be going for an Ag Scepter. Has himself the point booster already. TA now going to have the BKB. So, 2 solid core items. I see some camps getting circled here. Not sure what F-God was trying to tell us. He's going to throw a trio of wards down there. Look at that. Not going to be able to stack, but we'll just throw a little bit of harass out onto the Ancients. So interesting here. Klink's going to go for the Blink first over the Orchid. I'm a little bit surprised. Now, Klink's is a very squishy hero, so having that mobility piece does help out. Not only to get you in the right position to initiate, but help you make the great escape. When they have wards down and such, a Skeleton Walk is not the end-all be-all of survival. But an odd choice here. I would have thought that Orchid first would be the go-to item for sure. One thing that this PR roster lacks is crowd controls. They've got plenty of slow between the Veno as well as the Bristleback. I mean, they've got Cold Snap here on the Invoker. That's a stun. They've got the Unstable Concoction, but all in all, they don't do a lot. And Klink's is not a very utility-based hero. That's one of the reasons the Orchid is so good on him. Partially because he's sneaky and can apply to whoever he wants. But also because he doesn't have much utility at face value. He really just does damage. So that Orchid gives him a little bit more utility, and I think it's much needed utility here on the side of Power Rangers. Can help to shut down that Night Stalker, as well as the TA. I mean, really everyone on Empire. If you can Orchid the Dazzle, silence him before he gets the Grave off, Orchid is just so valuable in this game. I'm really surprised to see Blinks. Klink's favoring the Blink. Well, we could call him Blinks as well. I like that. That's cute. It's kitschy. See what the Bristleback is going for. I have a feeling Alchemist... Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. Someone's got to be working on that mech with 2 chainmails. Timbersaw getting close to a Bloodstone. Of course, not the fastest Bloodstone. It was a weird noise. Not the fastest Bloodstone we've seen, but he did go mech first. So pretty timely considering the facts. Considering he dumped about 3,000 gold into a mechanism. Perseverance, point booster, and is on the Arcane Boot, so just 1 piece off. Cheshire Cat actually taking a lot of damage there. Wow. Showing some of his burst potential. But yeah, once that Bloodstone comes out, Timbersaw going to be a very tanky force. And Night Stalker is just going to grab himself a Vlad's Offering. A casual point booster for now. Going to move into the Vlad's, and then we'll probably move into the Ag's Scepter. Another very mid-game oriented item here. Love the Vlad's pickup. Again, for those of you that have watched a fair bit of my casting, you'll know that Mech and Vlad's are two of my favorite items. Vlad's, I think, is one of the most underrated items in the game. One that doesn't get picked up nearly enough. So really a good mid-game oriented item, though. That huge armor aura, the life steal, going to give the Night Stalker some much-needed sustain here in this match. Take a look at the last hit chart, see how people are faring. This game has really quieted down, though. Both sides have just been pretty satisfied sitting back and farming. Invoker may be regretting his choice not to go for that early Midas, as he's had a lot of room to farm. Venomancer going to get caught. Void to start things off. The Chakram in. Easy kill on the Venomancer. F-God just going to walk into the wrong place at the wrong time with that one. Poor Veno. So curious if the Invoker is going to grab a Midas. Again, Midas for Invoker is not just about the gold. You can get it at a later point as you need it for the experience as well. At this juncture, though, it may be a moot point. Not sure he wants to invest in it. There's the Vlad's. Glyph going to be used. Deafening Blast comes out. There's a nice defensive weave from the Dazzle. Going to give him all that extra armor as we see it ticking up. And they will just be able to commit to this tower. Going to counteract the efforts of the poison acid spray. Pardon me. I was going to call it poison spray. The acid spray. Moon, he's going to get voided. He does have a blade mail out, though. That is a step in the right direction. This Armadon's starting to get a little scarier. But Empire, they're just going to take that tier 2. And they're going to pour it out. Dazzle will shallow grave himself. Going to try and port. Oh, poor Dazzle. He's going to get left behind. And he will get taken off. Or taken out. Ooh. Grave will keep you alive, but doesn't keep you safe from those interrupts. Down he goes. Luckily, though, Dazzle will be back pretty soon here. And has picked up a gem following that death. So he didn't lose the gem. Of all the times to die, a good time for Dazzle to go down. Now, TA does have the BKB. Wow, I'm glad I didn't wager too much. He's going to go Yasha, not the Blink that I was thinking. So, wow. Yasha, a great item, though. Going to give her some more right click. That movement speed, very often underrated when paired with the phase boots. Not a bad choice. Blinks. Is that what Perch calls him? Really, I like that. So with this gem out, looks like Empire will be able to take a bit of map control. They move around, start knocking down some of these wards. Of course, Bloodstone for the Timber Saw. I see in chat, yes, Mech is 2.3k gold. Sorry, 3k, 2.3, pretty close. But you're right, I concede Mech is cheaper than I led on. Very true. Other core items here. I'm curious what Clinks is going to build into, and I'm still surprised to see that he's not going Orchid. Looks like Clinks is going to go Ogre Club here. Probably going to turn into a BKB. I guess it could be an S and Y. That would be strange, but could be a choice here for the Clinks. And the only reason I'm sort of suggesting S and Y is because I worry if he goes Blink into BKB, Clinks is just not hitting hard. I mean, yeah, you've got the Searing Arrows. That gives you some damage. But that's not very much. I think Clinks is going to have to start building carry-centric items here if he wants to have a chance at making this happen. Again, Clink's going to try and finish off a tower. Second time, Clinks tries to finish it off, doesn't make it, and Visage will secure a deny. Meanwhile, Empire did finish off Roshan. Pretty easy Roche kill there, completely uncontested. And again, Aegis going to go the way of the Templar Assassin with her cute little hairdo. Look at that. Oh, how adorable. Cute ponytail. So let's take a look at this graph. Holding reasonably steady. Empire still finding the better of it. They are continuing to take map control. Now that they have the gem, they can take even more map control in these upcoming team fights. I guess Night Stalker doesn't need to worry too much about the carry power. He is not really a true carry as much as he just kind of snowballs. Mag, going to be in a little bit of trouble. We'll be able to Timber Chain up to the high ground. But they have the TA. So TA can play that carry role, no problem. It is going to move into a Manta. Does have that ultimate orb now sitting in the bank. Looks like the Asian casters have had enough. And Empire will just group up about this bottom lane, and they're going to start doing some damage to this bottom tier 2. It is a 4-man push right now, and I think they may be able to take it out. No glyph available for Power Rangers. Silent, posturing some aggression here. not afraid to tank this tower. The defensive weave, and with that, Silent going to go straight in. There's the Void to start it off. Silent probably going to need a BKB in this game. He's not the one with the Aegis. Resolution in the front lines. He's trying to take some of the focus here. Weave going to expire pretty quickly. They will be able to back out. No, they don't have the Timber with them. Wait, where is Timber? Did he make it too? Oh, yeah. He's on the way. Timber's going to be close. Like I say, they don't have their mech with him. But this fight's going to break out. Visage is going to be able to finish off the Venomancer. And there's Mag. He's going to be able to get close to finishing off Invoker. Down he goes. That's going to be a 2-0. There's the mech going to get popped. Now Moon taking a lot of damage. He's got his back turned, but there's the Dazzle stun, the Chakram, the poison. Down he goes. Mega kill streak coming out for Mag. It's going to be a 3-0. The sustain is just too much. Between the mech, the level 3 Dazzle heals, it's just too much. PR don't have the damage. And they didn't have their whole team there either. Cheshire Cat is up top. He's just farming away. Now this tier 3 tower taking heavy damage. Glyph going to be up in about 3 seconds. Buybacks come from Invoker as well as the Bristleback. Empire have already won this. If they take this tower and back up, they'll be just fine. Dazzle continuing with the sustain. Looks like Silent could be in trouble. Down he goes. Oh, bit of a misclick from Vanscore there. Going to grave on Mag. Very unfortunate. Silent was the one that that grave was intended for, no doubt about it. Hard to click though. That Timbersaw is pretty big. Another defensive weave as they do try to make a retreat. Concoction going to come out on Always Want to Fly. They will burn at dust. TA trying to do some damage. Sunstrike will fly. Going to be off the mark. Alchemist goes down. Mag, he's in no man's land. Going to commit suicide. Just trying to pull him into an awkward position so that Resolution can lay into him. He still has the Aegis up, so they can afford to overcommit here a bit. Always Want to Fly going to do just that. It's going to cost him his life. And TA will about face. Vanscore going to port out as well. Still a very convincing team fight for Empire there. They did take out the bottom tier 2, bottom tier 3, and they forced 2 buybacks. Invoker as well as the Bristleback. So although Power Rangers did grab themselves a couple of recovery kills towards the end, not going to be worth it. Double buyback coming into that. Let's glance at the net worth chart, and things continuing to look good for Empire. And we'll glance at the graph. Wowza! About a 12,000 gold lead now, 7,500 experience. That's where it's at. They're making it happen, Captain. Stretching out the old back here. Checking for follow-ups from that fight. Visage, his farm looking very promising. He has now have an Ag Scepter here at the 27-minute mark. That is always great news for the Visage. Of course, the sooner you can get the Ags, the better. Now actually has an Ogre Club to go with it. Probably going to be working on a BKB. Could be a Sange into a Halberd as well. Certainly a possibility. But going to have another familiar on the field. And that's where Visage really starts to get scary. Night Stalker now going to have his Ag Scepter, so he's going to reduce that vision, put PR in a bit of a state of disarray, as it may be. TA going to finish up that Manta, and now going to be moving towards what I can only assume is a Desolator, given she has BKB already with that Mithril Hammer. Desolator, really a core item on TA. She does have some minus armor to synergize with it. Smart choice, and actually Timbersaw going to just transition into a Blink. So mech into Bloodstone, straight into Blink, and now even has a Plate Mail. Probably going to be a Shiva's coming out for the old Timbersaw. Smart choice indeed. Invoker, not going for the Midas. I think it's safe to say he won't be picking up a Midas here. He does now have the Ultimate Orb, most likely going to be a Sheepstick. Fortunately for Empire, though, the Aegis is about to expire, so TA not going to get to use it. A little bit surprised that they gave it to TA. I would have thought Night Stalker would be the choice. Mostly on the way that they're playing and their positioning here. I mean, Timbersaw does go in the front lines, but he's much more mobile. Night Stalker is their frontline hero, and he's been taking the brunt of the damage. I would have thought just throwing the Aegis on him would have made for an easier team fight, perhaps. But what are you going to do? It will expire out of the inventory of TA here momentarily. All right, Rod of Owie going to be picked up here for the Bristleback. So Bristle's farm is slowly but surely getting a little bit better here. Rod of Atos now to go with the Blade Mail and Vanguard. Could be worse. Rod of Atos is pretty good mixed with the Bristleback. Does synergize with the Goo. Does give him a little bit of extra HP buffer. But generally not a game-changing item. Usually helps you secure kills that you are kind of going to grab anyhow. Maybe chase someone down a bit better, but I don't know that it's going to be a big game changer here for Power Rangers. Clinks did go for that build that was making me a little bit nervous. Blink straight into BKB. Now with 1.1k in the bank, I have to imagine it's going to be Orchid next. Uh-oh. Always want to fly. The Gale actually going to be off the mark. That's going to be a Poison Sting on him. And uh-oh. Cheshire Cat going to get turned around on. This fight going to actually erupt into chaos here. Those Forged Spirits doing a lot of damage. Always want to fly. Going to get Deafening Blasted. No kills coming out on either side quite yet. Clink's still alive. Familiar's still alive as well. Everyone going to be able to walk away. Even the Familiars. Nope, none of them going to fall. Not over quite yet, though. Another defensive weave comes out. Silence going to be used on the Bristleback. That's that Void. But still, no kills going to come. Everyone going to be able to retreat here.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I'm sorry, Crippling Fear is the one that silences, not Void. I misspoke. I had to look at it for a second. Embarrassing. Well, anyhow, Empire just going to press forward. They will start chipping away at this barracks. They need to be careful, though. Uh-oh, Silent. What are you thinking, pal? He pokes up. It's going to cost him. There's the grave, but wow, is he slowed. He's slowed to oblivion here. Look at that. Oh, Silent. Silent Knight. That was just... That was just a fatal misstep. He just wanted to poke up, say, oh, you know, maybe we could poke at these barracks, and the entire Power Rangers team was right there. And they were like, hey, Lord Zed, we're going to have to beat you to it. We'll see you later, pal. So Silent going to take a free trip back to the well. Maybe that's what he was looking for. Shiva's now going to be picked up on the Timber Saw. Desolator, very close for the TA. Does have both the Mithril Hammers. About halfway to that recipe. Could be worse, though. So let's see. Roche actually going to be coming up pretty soon here. I always have trouble reading this little graph. Wow, that's okay. All right, there he is. Roshan going to be back. So I was going to say maybe Empire will want to wait for third Roche. Even though it's only 30 minutes, they've still been able to take out some very early Roshans. We see the Familiars. Ooh, one of them going to get picked. Two of them, maybe. Nope, just going to get resummoned. They will scout out Roche. They're going to see him here. And, yeah, there's a trap down. So they'll move into the Roche pit. Of course, this is cheese. And that should make it a little bit easier for Empire. Now I think they will be able to just poke into that bottom lane and clear the racks, so to speak. Assuming they grab an uncontested Roche. This time, though, I just have to think that Aegis is going to be going the way of Night Stalker. I think that just makes so much more sense here. Maybe waiting for TA to finish up that Desolator, but the Courier, that cute little Badger Courier there. It's pretty adorable. Adorbs, there it is, the Desolator out on the Templar Assassin. This is when things get a little bit scary. That TA is hitting hard, man. She's starting to hit hard, and she hits pretty fast. Compliments of that Manta style. And it looks like they will rotate into the Roche pit now after grabbing this haste rune. Night Stalker going to burn the ulti here. And yeah, Roche just going to melt between the Medallion and the Desolator. It's pretty damn easy to take out a Roche at this point before they can even really react to it. But they're not going to take heed to my advice. Each is going to go the way of the TA, and Cheese will end up in the inventory of Night Stalker. Of course, with third Roche, splitting hairs a little bit. Both of them are very powerful.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
To each his own, I suppose I'll say. I'll chalk it up to that. Now, Empire, they are going to do it. They're going to group up about the bottom lane. There is a tier 2 standing in the mid still. And the Familiars are there. They may pressure it a bit, but it is going to be a 5-man effort down here in the bottom lane. The Ice Path comes out, or Ice Wall, pardon me. Oh, gosh. How can I be so silly? Clinks, you need to be careful, buddy. They do have a gem. It's in the inventory of the Dazzle, if I'm not mistaken. And he is not with him. Dazzle's going to be all alone down bottom, so alright. Clink's playing with my heart, though. They will clear out that tier 2 so they can take a successful team fight here. Empire might even be able to rotate in for a mid lane of racks. Plague Ward's down. Another Ice Wall. Of course, the Familiars just fly right over it. Do the wave. Glyph not available for Power Rangers. So this Rax going to be taking heavy damage. Mag going to hop right in. Venomancer going to be the first to fall before he can get anything off. Will buyback right away. I think the smart choice. Moon going to be in a similar scenario. He's going to fall. Instant buyback from the Bristleback. Already Empire off to a good start. Resolution going to be able to make it out with just a few hit points to spare. Of course, he does have the Aegis, so he's still okay. Venomancer did get the ultimate off this time. Always want to fly. Going to get the shallow grave. Right now it is a 5v4 on the field, but two heroes very weak. That will be the end of Always Want to Fly. Two fights kind of breaking out here. Moon going to pop out. And that will be a weave from the Dazzle. I think they will be able to finish off this Bristleback. They'll cut through him like butter to a warm knife. More buybacks being used, perhaps? Nope. J4 looking like he's going to fall. Oh, that one last attack, not enough. These Veno wards actually adding up a little bit. They are helping to repel this pushing prowess. Ranged Rax has taken a good bit of damage. They're still holding, though. Power Rangers still able to do it. Crippling Fear going to come out on ZXC. Timbersaw is able to finish off the Alchemist. Night Stalker pays with his life, though. Alchemist going to buy back straight away. So Empire have lost 3. They have not burned a buyback of their own. They finished off the Range Rax here. Veno taking some heavy damage. Mag going to be in trouble, though. Sunstrike coming out. Actually going to be off the mark. That's very unfortunate. And Mag might actually be able to survive this. Another Timber Chain up to the high ground. Oh, very unfortunate for Mr. Timbersaw. He will commit suicide. So I suppose one could say not a bad hold for Power Rangers. They did They kept their melee Rax alive. Ranged Rax fell, of course. The problem is, they grabbed 4 kills, but at what cost? 3 buybacks. There was a dieback on the Bristleback as well. Let's take a look at the graph, and that should reflect, yeah, Empire taking a very victorious fight. Power Rangers barely hanging on. But not what they were looking for. This graph is really getting out of control. 20,000 gold, 14,000 experience. Invoker will walk up and grab himself a sheep stick. That is going to help. Clinks now going to go into the Crystallis. I still think an Orchid would have helped him so much. Would have helped that DPS by just a huge margin. So they do hold. But at this point, it's looking a little bit rough. Empire can basically just do that again. They did burn the cheese. They also burned the Aegis. So they had those 2 tools at their disposal. But that fight pushed them even further ahead. And I think they might be able to break it on this next push. BKB on the way for Night Stalker. That should kind of be the nail in the coffin, in my opinion. A very smart next item following that Ags. BKB complete now for the Visage. That is great news for Always Want to Fly. And Timbersaw actually going to grab his BOTs. He's going to get the first set of Boots of Travel. And also interesting from Power Rangers, look at this. Every single member of their team has Power Treads. That's really fascinating. I don't know how I feel about that. I want to say it's not that good. I think having at least 1 set of Arcane Boots is absolutely huge. I think it really is. Gives you a lot more sustain. And I like having a few heroes with the Phasies as well. A couple of Phase Boots to chase you down. I mean, Power Treads are good. But are they that good? Are Power Treads? I don't know. Uh-oh. Up top, Cheshire Cat. They don't have the gem. Who's got it? Who's got a gem? Right now, Venomancer has 1. I don't know what happened to... Oh, there it is. They've got it as a trophy. Resolution. Maybe a bit too aggressive here. It does pop the BKB. Gonna eat the cheese. Looks like I was wrong. He did still have the cheese. Pardon me. He will keep him alive here. Now Moon gonna pursue. J4 gonna be in big trouble. Down he goes. Now Moon gonna be in trouble as well. He is gonna pop that barbed armor. Not gonna be enough though. And that will be 2 kills coming out for Empire. This should be an easy push. No buybacks available. Bristleback down for another 2. Alchemist down for another 3. Forge Spirit's gonna get cleaned up. Not much Power Rangers can do right here. Ice Wall does come out in the mid. They'll just rotate down to the bottom. Resolution really wants this melee Rax. He's gonna get it. There's the glyph for Power Rangers. They've still got 30 seconds of a 5v3 on the field, and I don't know how they can take this. They've got the sheep stick on Invoker. Still no Orchid. Maybe they could try to find something. ZXC will get silenced, will get voided, is going to be able to force that to the high ground, but not to much avail. He's going to get melted. No buybacks available for anyone. And I think we may be close to a GG here, folks. Clinks is in the back, trying to make something happen. But what can he do? He's got a BKB and a Crystallis. I don't think it's going to be enough against this 5-man death ball of Empire. They are going to back up here. They are going to reset this. And they're going to poke right back in. That Desolator making it very easy for him. Weave going to come out once again from the Dazzle. and they can commit to this no problemo. It is more now. Some more buybacks becoming available. Bristleback and Alchemist did respawn, but that will be the mid lane of Rax, and now Empire just going to rotate up top. That tier 3 already low, and I think this is looking like the end of Power Rangers. Empire just going to find the better of them. Benno falls once again. J4 looking like he's going to take a spill. Moon, he's got his back turned, but ouch. He just doesn't have enough armor. GG, well played's come out, though. That's going to be it. Empire will do it. Power Rangers had a good run. Still a very small chance of that top 4. So bittersweet, right on the cusp. But they're not going to be able to make it happen. Well played by Empire. Very well executed. An action-packed game. A fun one. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the solo casting, guys. I am Zyori. I was joined by Fog. Slated to solo cast the last 2 games. Hopefully you found it entertaining, maybe the least bit insightful. Certainly had a good time, nonetheless. Happy to see my Dazzle doing well. He actually did grab an Ags. That was one item that we didn't talk about in that game. Ag Scepter on Dazzle. Not one we see often. An interesting choice. Maybe a conversation best reserved for another time. Fascinating nonetheless. Great execution. I questioned some of the item choices from Power Rangers, though. The 5 power treads, yeah? I don't know. Yay or nay? We'll find out. The Clinks build, though, I still contend I think Orchid would have been so much better. He just didn't pack enough damage. Didn't pack the punch. That was the biggest problem for Power Rangers that match. That does wrap up our coverage today, though, guys. There is going to be more Starladder action coming on Beyond the Summit, though. It will resume tomorrow with another set of 6 good ones. Now, an interesting change of pace. I'm actually off tomorrow. Got some real-life things I need to tend to, and LD will be covering. So those of you that have been curious, where is my LD? Why is he not on stream? You'll get a taste of LD tomorrow, and he'll be coming back, so we can all look forward to that. I will be back on Sunday, and then we will move into our New Year's break. So sort of a weird back and forth here with the latter portion of this 30-day round robin for Starladder Season 8, but it's been a pleasure so far. Thank you so much for joining us today, folks. More Dota action will be coming at you at the regular time, 17 CET tomorrow, here on Beyond the Summit. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter. It's at the title of this broadcast, at Zyori TV. Take care.